Hey, this is Norm with Quantum Innovations, and I'm going to talk to you today about how does a crystal work. The crystal is actually a very important part, like I said in the other video, of the process. It's the brains of the operation during the deposition phase. So the way that this works is this is a known fact that these materials, they have a piezoelectric effect. That you could do some research on this on your own. Wikipedia has actually a great explanation for how this all works, but there is a piezoelectric effect. That means that when we apply an electrical signal, the thing is going to vibrate at a specific frequency, and this is known. So we are going to choose a crystal that has a specific frequency, and we're going to put the material on there that's going to give us our electrical conductance, the gold, and then it's going to give us the reporting that we want. So what happens is that crystal is going to vibrate at that frequency, and that's when you buy a 5.98 megahertz or a 6 megahertz or whatever your megahertz range is that you're looking at, that's going to be the frequency that it vibrates at. Now, that is dictated by the weight of that crystal or the thickness of the crystal. So now as you change the weight of the crystal, you are going to get it to vibrate at a different frequency. So what happens is as the thickness of the material that's applied to the crystal goes up, the resonant frequency goes down. So thickness on the crystal goes up, the frequency goes down. So in that, what we can do with the crystal controller is, and there were some very brilliant guys that invented this whole methodology, is that if we know the material that we're applying to the crystal in the deposition chamber, we can do an algorithm, some math on the backside that says when X amount of this material hits that crystal and the frequency changes 1 hertz, then that equals, and it doesn't have to be 1 hertz, I'm just giving that for example, that equals 1 nanometer. So that math that's being done there, when some mass hits the crystal and the weight changes, the frequency changes, the algorithm is calculated based on the input that we give the deposition controller, and then it knows how much was applied. If we know how much was applied, then we can control how much goes on the lens. The crystal's being coated at the same time that the lens is being coated, so then we can actually control the entire process by making sure that crystal is really good, that it has the adequate response time for the process that you're running, and that is dictated by whether it's gold, it's alloy, or it's silver. Those are the 3 main ones that you're going to use. Those have different response times, the feedback back to the EB gun. And then this process of depositing something on it, it changes the weight changes the frequency, the math is done, the feedback goes back to the EB gun, and then we control how much goes onto the lens. So that's how a crystal works in PVD evaporation method.